Welcome to the Masterwell Podcast. This is Devron. I'm your host. And today I've got an interesting situation. I've got two guests instead of one. You know, I can't even master one guest, and I've already got another two. There might be an audio issue as well because I'm using one external mic that is connected straight to an SD card. So just rolling the dice and we'll see how this goes. But let's get straight into it. Now, my previous guest last week, Batakan, he's Turkish as well, and two of my guests today as well are Turkish. So you're probably thinking, am I a Turk lover?
I think
I need to get like a Vietnamese tranny or something on one day, so just so I'm progressive.
Need to diversify, clearly.
It's going to be a common theme.
Yeah. All right. To introduce my guests, I have Tamer Shen. Should I call him Tamer Abi? All right. How old are you?
37.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. It's not fun anymore. After 32, 33, the novelty of being 30 sort of wears off, and then you start thinking about the 40s.
You know what? My 30s so far, like I've embraced it.
Yeah.
31, it's like it's slowly wearing down.
Yeah, I feel like when you turn 30, you're like the year 11 and 12 students that are the cool kids in the school.
Yeah.
And you look at the 20-year-olds like, oh, you guys don't know shit.
So what does it feel like you hang around with two minors right now?
I'm pretty used to it. One, I know you guys quite well. And two, my brother's your age. He hangs out with you guys all the time. So, yeah, it's...
I'll introduce my next guest as well.
Not too left field.
Yeah, it's fine. My next guest is... the other guest is Burak Oz. I've had him on my test episode. That was a cracker, that one.
Yes. I've got a call
He's back. Now there's going to be three of us, and let's hit it off. So we all watched The Last Dance.
We did indeed.
Yes, we did.
Now, from the bat, starting with you, Tamer Abi, what's your thoughts?
Initial reaction.
Well,
because I haven't even got this off you as well.
Yeah, I know.
I'm very curious.
I know. I'm surprised. I'm actually expecting you to.
I've got a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued because generally me and you don't see eye to eye. So I'm sure we're not going to see eye to eye here as well.
No.
But one thing it did is reinforce who the GOAT is, which I never had any doubts anyway, to be honest with you. But it just reinforced it. Also, just
can I ask how? Like, okay, your biggest takeaway is that MJ's the GOAT. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Don't dispute that. That's the one thing we can agree on. But do you think it empowered his legacy, or do you think it?
I think it solidified it because I think people forget in today's age. There's so much information. We're overwhelmed by just constant information.
Yeah.
Now we've got access to social media. It's just new info constantly. That's how we're now geared. We always want new information. So I think a lot of the new school cats probably don't know who Jordan was. It's like more of a legend, a myth, if anything. So I think one educated them on his greatness. But also just for my sake, just to see all those little intricate sort of little stories that made him who he was, just his obsession with winning. I don't think LeBron has it to that degree.
I agree.
And don't get me wrong, I think LeBron is absolutely amazing athlete. What he's done, look, if he didn't face the Warriors, maybe he might have 6 titles. Who knows? But these are all, variables, and end of the day, it is a subjective argument. But I just think Jordan statistically is, I think, superior. Yeah, he might.
Are we going straight into a Jordan versus LeBron debate here?
Yeah, I know. Actually, let's.
I thought I was going to marinate.
I know. We've just jumped right into it. All right, look.
Fuck LeBron.
All right, I'm gonna take a step back. I think just from a production view, I think it was done really well. Just
did it tell you anything you didn't already know? Because I feel like you're a big fan of the 90s basketball. Yeah. I feel like you would know a lot of the stuff that happened. But was there anything that you didn't know?
No, I knew sort of.
I didn't know about Jerry Krause and Jerry Ryan.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Jerry Krause existed.
Yeah.
I think back in the 90s basketball, you didn't really know who the GMs were. Like today, we get a lot more candid information
there's
regarding
a lot more player empowerment.
Well, there's player empowerment, but you also, I know who the GM of Toronto Raptors are. They get more publicity these days.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Whereas back in the days, you only knew who the players were, and I guess it's shifted in that sense. Now GMs, they do a remarkable job. They're getting the props they deserve. There's celebrity agents now. It's just changed. And I think that probably is due to social media.
Yeah.
Anyone can get their attention now and their props. So I had no idea who Jerry Krause was. Little stories of Jordan, how, he'd create those little tails in his head just to gain a competitive advantage. I didn't know those little stories. So I think that was just great insight.
That's what stood out to me the most.
Yes.
Was how like the level of detail he went, like he put his mind through to be like, this guy did this. That's it. It's done to me.
Yeah. The one that really stood out was the one where he said, someone, which I can't remember which player it was, he said something to him. And then 20 years later, they interviewed him and said, "Is that what you said?" And he's like,
"It never happened.
Never happened." Like, that's just crazy. I wish I knew which player it was now. Or which team. No.
Oh,
it was one of the.
It was actually one of the players that played for the Bulls, though.
Yeah, and I think he out-dueled him in the first game they played, and in the following night they happened to have
something like, "Hey, good game" or something like that. Yeah.
And he just made that up.
You want to know? I've got a few takeaways from this.
Yeah.
Right? So my first one is Pippen's a bitch, man. Pippen is like, you know what? He like subtly, like, even from the first time I saw him on screen wearing that pink shirt, I'm like, man, I'm not gonna like this guy's story. And apparently he's not really happy with the way his portrayal of it.
Well, there's been a few stories. Horace Grant is another one.
Yeah.
Another one that really didn't think about it too much up until now. One person which they completely ignored during a particular series when they spoke on the Orlando Magic versus Chicago series.
Was Horace Grant?
No, they didn't even mention Shaq, who was their best player in that team. They just literally skimmed over him. They didn't even mention. I didn't think they
mentioned Shaq.
It was like Horace Grant and co.
They said a few names.
Yeah,
and that's it.
They didn't actually focus on him at all. And I just the rumor behind it is that he works for TNT, which is a opposition to ESPN.
Okay.
So they didn't get him on.
Then Barkley was on there, and he also works for TNT, which then made me question it again. So
you know what I find interesting? That a lot of these people, like you had Isaiah Thomas, you had Scottie Pippen, you had all these big people kind of doing personal interviews and stuff like that, that they were obviously happy and accepted the role to do it. But a lot of them after the series are like, man, I was not happy with the way that went down. So you kind of wonder, was it a full look at the picture, or was it from Michael Jordan's perspective? So don't get me wrong, like I firmly believe like this doco solidified that he's a fucking savage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a male who loves sports, and I'm very, you like the alpha. You know
he's the alpha of
alpha.
Exactly. So you kind of respect like the hustle, the grind, of the way this whole thing went down. But yeah, it's kind of funny how like you had a few people that weren't happy with the way it went down. Like these people are giving
that's going to happen,
and they don't get like Horace Grant, Pippen. Then you've got
Karl Malone wasn't interviewed, which is interesting.
Nah.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Patrick Ewing. There was Larry Bird. There was quite a few people. If you think about it, like in order to squeeze so much information within 10 episodes, right? You got to think of that as well.
Yeah.
And how can the message be portrayed? It has to fit this storyline.
Sort of narrative.
It has to have like little peaks, like climax, and then like a resolution. There's like a 3-part. That's how it happens with every documentary and movie. There's always like the start, there's a climax, the middle, and then
there's like a negative before
positive. Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of things would have been chopped up.
For sure.
Pretty much. Don't look at it like it's a Jordan documentary, and you guys are just a part of the documentary.
Yeah.
The Last Dance is bullshit. This documentary had nothing to do with the Bulls. This documentary had to do with Michael Jordan. A first look.
Yeah.
The cameras were following him the last season. They weren't following the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
They just happened to be around him.
He's the one that got that. So he's the main guy. So obviously it has to revolve around him. They still gave like an episode to Phil Jackson. They still gave an episode
to... got a bit of shine like in the last episode.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't even know his story.
Yeah, that they had a bit of a run-in?
No, I know that. Everyone knows that. I think like...
how he lost his father. Yeah.
So like they had all kind of common ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know who came out looking like a boss Dennis
Rodman.
Yeah, Rodman.
Rodman, like, I think people, like, I had no idea how wild the guy was, like, in the 90s, but, like, you have no one in today's era that's like that.
They wouldn't be able to get away with that in today's age. No.
The guy was in the
way.
middle of a final series and he, like, leaves practice to go WWE.
Yeah.
I was like,
The NWA, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That is crazy. No, I didn't know those stories. I knew that he was a bad boy and that he had a lot of flings with celebrities and whatnot, but I just didn't know that he, went on hiatus a couple of times. And I think also another thing that I think Phil Jackson was the perfect coach. He was like that, the balance, the Zen master, right? That's what they call him.
Yeah.
Any other coach, I don't think they would have been able to deal with that many personalities.
100%.
Like you had your alpha of alphas.
Do you think he was selfish though in the end of '98? Do you think he was the reason that they didn't come back because they offered it to him again?
I think pride. There was a bit of pride there. Jerry Krause said he wasn't
exhaustion
going.
as well. If you think about it, you'd be mentally exhausted after all of that.
Thing I was
but didn't he go straight to the Lakers, or did he take a season off then go to the Lakers?
I can't recall, to be honest. I think
because the Spurs won in '99, and then he went to the Lakers in 2000, 2001, 2002. They won.
They won in 2000, 2001 was the first of the three with Lakers, but I don't know if that was his first season in charge of the Lakers. I'll probably have to check that out. Yeah.
If it wasn't, then he didn't take. I think he had a you know what? My personal take is that he had a prior arrangement with the Lakers after the '98 season.
Who knows? But then look, they didn't have Shaq on board at that point.
No, Shaq was with them in '98.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll do a quick fact check.
Yeah, please.
Jamie.
Okay, I thought that he moved on a little bit later.
Let's like marinate on topics because we're running through a lot of things really fast and we're jumping from like let's just say back to how everyone had an episode each, right? Well, still Jordan was always in the episode, but let's say Dennis Rodman. But now Phil Jackson, that one stood out to me the most because of just the whole thing, that his whole spirituality with the whole Native American, the whole meditation, how like uniting the team like that. And you just think like, wow, the fact that he's won 6 championships with Chicago Bulls, 5 with the Lakers. He's got 2 championships himself with the New York Knicks.
Does he?
Yeah. Was it 2 with the New York Knicks, right?
Yeah, 2.
So he's got 8 rings. No, sorry. How many did he win with Lakers? 5. That's right. 5 and wow.
So he's got 11, and he's got his 2 personal for his own NBA career.
That's an amazing career when you think about it. He's, started out as a player, transitioned to a coach, arguably the GOAT coach.
100%
as well.
He was at Lakers 96, 97.
Okay. So he left right after that defeat. I think they played off against them and they bet him the first time.
What happened was the year. Sorry, the year that 93, 94, when Jordan was wearing 45, they beat him in 7.
Yeah,
and then the year after they got swept.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so he left after that season. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I should know this.
Who was the Detroit Pistons coach that had Rodman? What was his name?
Chuck Daly.
Chuck Daly.
I love what he said. That's another thing that really stood out to me when he goes, "You can't put a saddle on a Mustang." about Rodman.
Yeah,
you've just got to let him be.
Yeah,
that's the kind of beast he was.
Well, I think that's what Phil obviously took that on board.
Yeah,
they knew what they were in for. That is going to be a roller coaster.
Well, when he went from Detroit to San Antonio, then San Antonio to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you reckon happened in that hotel room? You know how it's like, I don't want to say. There has to be not just Carmen Electra under the sheets. There has to be more people.
There probably
there's probably dudes as well. Fucking people like face paint on and stuff.
He was with Madonna in the 90s, man.
Yeah, I think Madonna was with everyone in the 90s though, right?
That's true.
Puck as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, new dude, like changing socks.
Yeah, literally. She went through every basketball team in the NBA.
Hey, God bless
she's
her.
She's a bit like Kendall Jenner now.
Yeah,
Kendall.
Well, she's just focusing on.
Yeah. Madonna was more whorish.
Yeah,
why?
No doubt.
Because Madonna.
No,
you just
know her music,
bro. I see you liking Kendall Jenner's photos, bro.
I know you do too, or you used to. Let's not go into that. Hey, Kendall is arty. No, but look, she has been around as well. I'm not like being like Team Kendall.
Man, she's fucking my boy. She's fucking over my boy Ben Simmons, bro.
Whatever.
Are they still on or what's
No,
going
man,
on?
she's with Devin Booker or something now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to like. Is this?
No, let's not. What are we? The gossip. Oh my god! Like, is she dating him?
I don't know how.
I think we need to
You know
rename
what's
this
funny? You
podcast.
start off like, "Yo, Pippin's a bitch," and then it's like, apparently,
Man, look, I can't help it. I know this
Oh
stuff.
man,
I follow the trends of the
it's become
internet.
Women's Day.
100%. No, everything's just one now. You know, on social media.
Dude, you can't
help
you
it.
can't have a conversation without bringing in the Kardashians at some point. You know what I mean?
They're the pop culture icons right now.
Unfortunately,
Mm.
but yeah,
So
there was definitely some freaky shit going on.
yeah.
Like, what's that movie with Tom Cruise,
Oh,
Nicole Kidman?
Eyes wide
no,
shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
There was some eyes wide shut shit going down.
That's more like secret society
hey,
kind
what
of
does it
feel.
say
I feel like
there?
he was just more
What do you
open.
think? Hey, what does that
No
say?
masks.
What does that say about Jordan? Literally, finishes practice, goes to Vegas after he doesn't show up. What's his name? Rodman doesn't show up. Michael Jordan comes to your hotel room. Michael Jordan comes to your hotel room and like, hey man, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of boss shit is that, man? Like, I don't know if Rodman's the boss for having Michael Jordan come to him,
Yeah.
or Michael Jordan's the boss for like, all right, I'll go get him, and I just
No,
just go
you'd have to respect Jordan. They all respected Jordan. And, like, the question is, you know how they were kind of hating on him as well? Not hating, but, like, yeah, he was an asshole. He wasn't nice to them.
savage.
Yeah. Like, is he a sociopath? Do you reckon? That's the question.
I think he is to a certain extent.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to be, right?
Yeah.
And for his like mental state, what he wanted to achieve.
it's kind of greatness. Like, I kind of liken the way Jordan has that relentless energy to win to, like, for example, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like you'll die for the cause, but you're that person who will put in more than anyone, so no one can say anything to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think any of Cristiano Ronaldo's teammates loved him, but they just admire his drive. First one to trade, he last one to leave.
Yeah.
Will outwork everybody. Will, you know what I mean? That's not built in with everybody.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
agree. And I think, like, in terms of Michael Jordan, that greatness, do you think Cristiano Ronaldo is that for today?
I think the
In terms of
times have
universal?
changed.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Social media,
Well,
all these, there's so many aspects now. But imagine if Jordan had an iPhone and social media, and I don't think he would be the type to actually look in the camera and be like, hey,
No.
guys.
well,
you know,
this is
I don't think
this
so.
is an interesting topic because can you have that aura GOAT status in the 21st century? Now, for example, when I think of aura or like GOAT status, like I don't think of like the person with the most skill. Like, for example, Muhammad Ali was never the best
No.
technical boxer, but he was the greatest. GOAT.
He had the
Greatest,
heart of
greatest
the
of all
champion.
time. You know, people who saw him would like freak out. You
Yeah.
know, he had the most recognizable face
Yeah.
in the world. He was political,
Yeah.
but he had this energy about him.
Yeah.
You know what the thing?
I mean?
I think it also comes down to Muhammad Ali. You could argue was bigger than the sport of boxing.
And
That's
is that what
it.
it requires?
Yeah,
Do you
and
need to
that's
be
the same
bigger than
with-
the sport?
That's what I think
Same
it
with
does
Jordan
require.
as well.
Jordan was bigger than the sport. Now that might have just been timing. Like, could
Yeah.
that happen today? Basketball has grown significantly from the 90s, and Jordan was a big part of that.
Yeah.
That even touched on that in the
100%,
Last Dance. You know how
for sure.
his sort of rise came at the same time of the Olympic Games, and that just took
Yeah.
it to the next level.
That's where it went global.
That's when it went
92
global.
Well,
Olympics.
is
That's
there
right.
any other GOATs besides those two? Like, do you look at Roger Federer as a GOAT? Like, he is a GOAT, but I don't look at him like,
Yeah.
He's a bit
Oh.
too humble, which you wouldn't normally say too humble in the same sentence, but because
he doesn't have that.
he doesn't have that
Yeah.
aura about him.
Is that the alpha aura?
It's that.
Do you call it the alpha aura?
I also
Yeah.
think the
A
game.
Maradona had it.
Maradona, I was about to say Maradona.
But I think also it's the
Cocaine.
sport. The sport. Tennis is a very it's a gentleman's sport. It's positioned in a certain way where
Yeah.
to go outside of that, like look at Nick Kyrgios, he's showing that sort of that he's flexing his alpha, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't
He's not
get
winning.
really. He's not winning, unfortunately for him. But even it doesn't get. It's not as well received as it would be in any other sport.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Like, it's a combination of being that big personality. Like, for example, if Conor McGregor was winning every fight,
yeah.
if he, like, I look at him as like he's bigger than the sport.
He is bigger than the sport.
You know what I
He's
mean? But and maybe there's certain sports, like, for example, like, you know, tennis isn't a sport like, it's like not physical. Like boxing is like you can't get more physical than mono
And let me just add one part. I feel like it was more special back then as well, is because we didn't have readily content at our fingertips, whereas it would be on TV, like you tune in to see.
Yeah.
It would be a billboard when you go past or something. So like, it's not in your face. You don't have a Google or a
like if
YouTube to search
Michael
up
Jordan
things.
said something at a press conference and left, you're like, what now?
When
exactly.
I used to actually check NBA scores back in that Jordan era in the Herald Sun on a Sunday. I used to look at there was like one little page on the newspaper that had the scores and the ladder.
Would you check? There was no.
Otherwise, I had no way of finding out who was winning, what Jordan was putting up. Nothing.
Shit.
Yeah.
Think about it, like how the information was like, especially from sports overseas. Like, how the hell would you like? We've got Sportsbet now. Like, what I mean, everything's live.
Everything's live.
Yeah.
Google. You can
actually
see when you Google UFC, for example, you'll see the fights, like the time that's gone, what round it's going into.
Yeah.
Everything's just like
unless you have
at your
cable, pay
fingertips.
TV. That's the only way you track games.
Yeah, but even then, was there pay TV early 90s?
They had pay-per-view, right? They had live events.
Pay-per-view, yes.
Foxtel,
I don't,
Foxtel
yeah.
around
they had
back in the 90s?
Sky Sports. I'm
Even when
pretty
they
sure
did the
as well.
drafts, weren't like the NBA draft and stuff in '85? Wasn't that live as well on television?
Not in Australia.
Well, I remember in the 90s, on Sunday mornings, they used to play NBA.
They used to play, they had NBA action
Yeah.
on a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
And they had NBA game of the week. Then they actually had 2 games a week on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, they had another show called Inside NBA, I think, Ahmad Rashad. And that was where you'd get all your NBA info.
Because I'm just thinking, how did I get into NBA? Like, I had Chicago Bulls top when I was like in 93, 92. And like, I was a massive basketball fan back then. And I was like,
It was
I had
Jordan.
what's called the Jam game.
NBA Jam. Yeah.
On Super Nintendo.
It was just that thing in Australia, the culture of it. You looked at Jordan. We're kids, we don't, but the logos, you look at the Chicago Bulls logo.
The tops back in the 90s were
cool.
Yeah.
super
You
cool.
look at the branding of it. It sticks out. It looks dope.
I actually speak to a work colleague of mine about this. But think about it, like if the AFL like actually promoted, for example, changing tops every year, do you think it would gain more traction into like having cool tops, or like because the NBA, you find like they change their tops, it makes you want to buy the new ones.
Yeah, since Nike took over the jerseys, it's taken another level. I feel they've now they're having alternate tops, like 2 to 3 a year, and you find that you're always looking at new tops and thinking, "Wow, that looks awesome! I should get that one." So they've really changed. They've really upped their game. Whereas Adidas sort of took advantage of the situation. I think that having that sponsorship there. If AFL did that, I think it would work as well.
I don't think it would work still with AFL.
You know what it is? AFL is... I'm not a big footy fan myself, but they're very big on their history, sticking to the code, not trying new things.
I feel like there's a ceiling.
But I think they're stuck in the past. Like they can't evolve. The sport can't evolve unless they do something
drastic.
No, well, the sport's great as it is. Don't get me wrong. It's like one of the most entertaining sports you could watch. If you were just a Joe Blow from America or Joe Blow from Europe and you came and watched the AFL, you would be like, holy shit, what is this game? You know, you'd want to get into it.
It's not global. Look, Dusty, I guess, is that iconic kind of guy at the moment. He's like the top guy. Like people want to know what he's up to, or he's a cool cat.
Yeah.
Right? But it still will not transcend to the world.
No way.
Not at all. And that's the thing with Australia. Australia, we don't really push pop culture to the world. What kind of products do we have? You got America with Nike, all these big brands. You've got all the artists there. Look at fashion all around the world. What do we got? We got Ugg boots. We got Rip Curl.
Lamingtons.
Yeah, which the world don't know about.
Did you say Vegemite?
Yeah, Vegemite. Who are our actresses and actors and singers that all go to America, if anything, and they establish their career there.
It's a small market here. It's only 25 million people, and then on top of that, just the way the landscape is as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've only got really 2 cities that are pretty much on a global, like that are recognised globally, like Melbourne, Sydney, probably even more so Sydney. It's a different market. It's harder to gain that sort of worldwide attention here, and that's why, as you mentioned, artists, athletes will always go overseas to take their talents to. So, yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't think any jersey from Australia.
And can I just say, like, they don't look good.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at the NBL jerseys. They look like junk. Like
Oh,
there's
that's terrible.
15 sponsors on it.
Yeah.
They look.
It just looks like you can buy it at Dimmies.
Yeah, it does. It looks cheap as shit.
Do you think there is like one AFL jersey that's like decent? I think the old West Coast Eagles from the 90s was decent.
What's your thoughts on if they made it more like a basketball jersey? Like in terms of the fit.
Simplicity as well.
Simplicity and fit.
Yeah.
So more like the round neck, smaller on the long shoulders.
Just the logo here of like the team, just like there in the middle. I don't know.
Would that...
The number on the
It would
back.
be easier to wear on top of tees or, just more as a fashion sort of statement as opposed to just wearing it to the footy. You don't see people rocking an AFL top at the shopping centre, for example.
Oh, you
and if
do.
you do, it's like...
But his name's...
If you're a 36-year-old rocking a Hawthorn jersey or a Hawthorn top, I'm going to look at you like you're grown, like you're a man baby.
What if I wore an NBA jersey?
No, I'd be like, okay, fair call.
I still wear my jerseys.
No, like I'm saying, like for example,
That's pretty weird. You're like 43 years old though.
I was about to pat him on the back, so he said 36. I'm like, my man.
No, but I'm saying like, the NBA jerseys you can kind of rock. Like I feel like I could only rock them at like certain occasions, like rock the block. I just don't wear them. It's I don't know, it's just not my thing. But I've got the novelty of having a AFL top at home. Like
I do. I've got a Hawthorn.
But like, I would never wear it. I don't even know why. I bought it.
It just doesn't look.
It looks shit.
Doesn't look cool.
Nah.
It just. Yeah. I think they should maybe change the cuts up a little to make it a bit more fashionable, and then have some alternate tops and promote them more, and then you might be able to sell some more footy tops.
Yeah, but I think Australian sport in general, it's just not part of the whole thing. It's just
The
membership
grand scheme
drives.
things. Nah.
They don't think outside the square. They just accustomed doing the same thing.
We've got
year.
this thing here that mediocrity, being mediocre is the norm.
You know what? I believe that. You know why?
I'm telling you, man.
When I went to, so for example, like I go to AFL week in, week out when it's on, right? And they've got this thing at halftime for Richmond anyway. It's called Run the Jeep, where you've got like a kid in the crowd who runs against the Jeep that's like hologrammed on the advertisements across the ground.
Yeah.
That's the fucking highlight. Now, I went to the US in October, right? And fair enough, there's a lot more stop-starts there, but dude, man, this thing was out of this world. There's like fireworks after every touchdown. There's a mariachi band playing, literally a live mariachi band. The Jabberwockies come in at halftime, do a full show. You've got like cheerleaders, you've got people t-shirt time. Yeah. It's crazy. You got people like it's a fucking party. Yeah. Like it's vibing.
When they do touchdowns in NFL as well, the players, they have their own songs. So they do a touchdown, they have a playlist. Like if they do that touchdown, that's a song I want to play. So when I went to watch the New York Knicks, no, not New York Knicks, when we're talking about the Giants, like Victor Cruz would do a touchdown and his song would come on and it'd be like Jay-Z and Kanye, N-word in Paris. I'm not going to say the word. But the whole place would be erupting.
Yeah, their entertainment value is a lot higher.
Definitely.
I also think the budgets, like you got to consider that too.
Yeah.
Like there's teams in AFL that are barely getting by. And then when you compare the NFL teams, for example, they are cashed up.
This makes no sense though.
Is it because the AFL is taking in...
Has to be.
It's got to be, right? It's a bit like what the UFC do with their athletes.
Yeah.
Like you look at what the damage that some of these fighters take, and then you look at how much they got paid, $40K. To shed years off your life, you're getting paid $40K.
It's crazy because I think I look at the membership drive. So, for example, I look at a round number like, once again, the Richmond's got like 100,000 members. Fair enough, you've got few of them that do 3-game memberships and all that sort of stuff. But I pay $350 for my membership. $350. That's per person. You're talking millions of dollars.
What does that entitle you to? Just out of curiosity.
I've got like selected seating. I don't have guaranteed.
And a 10% discount off the sausage rolls.
You get tickets for every home game?
Every home game. That's it. Okay. Not even away games and no guaranteed finals. And, I've been a member for like 4 years. So it's kind of like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you're not even talking about the money that's made through, I don't know, does the venue make the money on the drinks? I don't know how it all works, but all I know is if I'm paying $350 for a fucking yearly membership.
It's interesting because I feel like you're hearing the same stories every year with AFL. There's always a few teams that are struggling to make ends meet. I don't know what AFL player salaries are like, if they've sort of come.
They have come up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I think you've got people that are on like slightly multi-million year contracts. Like, Dusty's on a $4 million, like 4-year, $5 million contract or something like that. But that's like huge.
Yeah, so $1 million a year.
Like the biggest contract I think was Buddy
Pippen had that.
$9 million for like 7 years.
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Sydney.
Yeah,
that contract's like Pippen's contract.
Yeah, Pippen. Back to Pippen. Yeah, he's a bit of an odd dude.
But you got to love him though, man.
Yeah,
he's got the deepest voice, but
you kind of look at where he comes. Let's just look at the other side.
Sports.
Yeah, he complained about that. He did come across as a bitch in this a bit. You know, the what solidified that bitchness was when he bailing on that game. Did you know about that?
No.
Yeah, I did.
You did know about that? I had no clue about that.
That was huge.
Yeah, that didn't come across me.
That's why Jordan's a goat, bro.
Yes. Now he had a lot of. So I'm just thinking maybe he had a lot of pressure. There's no excuse for you to do that, but I guess he didn't have that edge to be like, you know what, nah, I'm going to listen to Phil. Let that Croatian go.
But you know what,
coach? Yeah, to take that.
Yeah. But I got to feel for him too, but it's like, this is my year.
Yeah.
Jordan's not here. It's my moment. Don't take that moment away from me. And he took that moment away from him. You know what I mean? Like, that means Phil thinks you're a bitch.
He's always been like, just in the shadows of Jordan.
I'm not just like, okay, yeah, they run the schemes for Tony Kukoc, triangle. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But Pippen was MVP caliber player that year. You give him the ball. It doesn't matter. You give him the ball. This is fucking basketball, bro.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I still think
Kobe was there, Kobe gets the ball.
Yeah.
If MJ was there, MJ gets the ball. If you're the man, maybe it's just a beater. He's a beater person. Like, you know.
Yeah. He was. They showed that. He was the guy that would come up and like kind of hug him and say, you know, it's all good and stuff. That's his characteristics. You could try to change that. You could try to be that aggressive person that he probably attempted
him and LeBron would get along.
It's not himself. Him and LeBron, yeah. All right, hey, let's fucking let's talk about LeBron James. We're a good 30 minutes in.
All right, here we go.
Briefly, I'm just going to say, fuck him. Now you two go.
Look, do you want to take this?
I'll just...
and let's not try to cut each other too much as well. Let's just go. Bang, bang.
I think LeBron is obviously an amazing player, but when you compare him to Jordan, if that's what you're going to, you know, sort of use him as a like comparison for greatness, I don't think it's a good idea. I just think he's the most pampered athlete in I feel like he's got too much pull. I don't think Jordan had the same pull. Like, he literally is, they call him lead GM for a reason. So I feel like the NBA GMs all bent over backwards to accommodate for him. He sort of bailed pretty much on Cleveland. Jordan didn't do anything like that. He rode it out. Twice, yeah, that's right, twice. He formed a super team, which changed the entire NBA landscape. Everyone started forming super teams.
I wouldn't credit him for being the first one. I think Boston was the first super team.
Yeah, true, but they made a real spectacle of it, whereas... You know, Boston, the year prior, they're actually the worst team in the NBA. They already had Paul Pierce on board. Then again, Miami had Wade on board.
Rondo was already at Celtics.
Rondo, it was a big four, wasn't it, Boston? So you had, okay.
But Rondo came through the ranks of the team.
Yeah, that's right. And you had Paul Pierce there already as well. But the way Miami went about it, they had all the role players there. They made a full spectacle of it. And I just think that changed the entire landscape of the NBA. Everyone started trying to emulate what they did, forming super teams. And what you'd see is that the disparity in the league became really wide. Like, you had your elite teams, like say 4 or 5, and then the rest of the NBA was just scum. So I didn't like that too much. Statistically, if you want to sort of compare them, I think Jordan, obviously, in terms of scoring, I think he will end up averaging about, say, 10 points more per year. I think rebounds...
I think
Jordan's
LeBron's 27, 8 and 8.
Yeah, and Jordan's like 35, isn't he?
No, it's 30.1 for his career, and then in playoffs he raises to like 31.
Okay. I thought it was a bit more, but okay.
Well, look, I've got a lot to say statistically when it comes to this whole LeBron versus Jordan thing. So, like, they say LeBron's a better rebounder. He's a better assister. He's not a scorer, but scores a lot. And he's gonna be the ultimate stat paddler. Like he's gonna smash everybody in stats. But would you rather? I'll pose a question to you. Would you rather someone who's going to give you 30 points for 10 years, or you're going to rather someone that's going to give you 15 points a game for 20 years? Because theoretically, they'll score the same amount of points. But one person will give you a 10-year run with more championship potential.
Yep.
So that's the way I look at it. So LeBron, unfortunately, he came from high school. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately for him, he came out of high school. He's just going to have so many years. Don't get me wrong, he's probably the most durable athlete there is in the world at the moment. He looks after his body. But he's got 20 years to do what Jordan did in 13.
That's right.
Realistically.
The argument's already over, essentially, because Jordan's, how many years did he play? Like 13 in the league?
Well, you look at 13, but then he had his second year where he broke his leg and he played like 10 games. And you look at his year where he played 16 games after coming out of retirement the first time. I don't count his seasons 1 and 2
Wizards.
with
The Wizards.
Washington.
Yeah.
So
I wish he didn't do that.
Yeah, I
to be
know.
honest with you, but it is what it is.
So I think he was drafted in 84, number 2 behind Elijah 1, and then he played up until I think it's 13, but then it works out to be 15 with those 2 years, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So his
13 years with the
window
Bulls.
was a lot smaller, and he achieved a lot more.
Yeah.
That's
in 13 years, he got 10 scoring titles, 9 all defensive at NBA, which is an NBA record.
Yeah.
He was defensive player of the year. Like in terms of accolades for the amount of time that he played, he's got 12 All-Star appearances in 13 years. Like LeBron's got more, but he's got the longevity.
That's right.
And they always say that, okay, well, LeBron's a better rebounder, he's a better assister. Well, if you look statistically, LeBron's a small forward?
Yeah.
If you compare LeBron's rebounding across all small forwards in history, he comes out at 17th. So, yeah, he's a good rebounder, but for his position, he's not the best. He's not even top 10.
Yeah.
When you look at Jordan, who's a shooting guard, right, he is the second highest shooting rebounder out of all shooting guards in history. So he's actually a very good rebounder for the position. For his position.
Yeah.
So you can't really use that argument against him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I get you. Look, it is subjective. The only way you could really make the argument for who's better if they played in the same era, in opposing teams, and if they happen to face each other during a final series, then you'd get a better picture of who really is better. But look, I guess the question would probably be better, who would you rather have on your team?
Yeah.
Well, ESPN just did a recent study in 17 categories, like everything from who has a better shoe to who's a better passer to who's a better everything, right? Yeah. 17 different categories. And they ranged the questions from people, or they ranged the ages of the people who answered out of the study. There's 600 people who did the study, right? Yeah. And the ages are equal amount of people from 18 to 40, right? They've got the same amount of people 18 to 28 and then 28 to 40 or something like that, right? So you've got 300 of an each. 17 out of 17 categories, Jordan wiped the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to passing, which I believe that LeBron's a better passer.
Yeah, I would have to give him that too. It's actually a shame that LeBron has to sort of be in his shadow.
He kind of did it to himself, though.
He kind of did. You know, when you're wearing number 23, and he did say certain things which, you know, I guess gave the media and all followers the impression.
That one there
right?
made me the greatest. Fuck off.
And referenced him coming up from 3-1 down.
I don't think LeBron has the same mentality as Jordan as well.
Well, when he lost the finals, the first one against Golden State, wasn't he like, it's just basketball. I get to go home to my wife, my kids. You know, you wouldn't hear Jordan saying that. You know what I mean?
No way.
Not at all. Jordan will be fucking in the gym straight
away.
And he'll write down the fucking plan, how to murder everyone in this game.
Look, for me, like, if I had to go 1 to 5, like me personally, like you got to go, for me personally, right? I'd go MJ, I'd go Kareem, just because he had amazing college career, amazing. He's got like the best statistics in terms of like basketball awards.
And in the modern era?
Then I would probably go Magic. Cobes. I'd definitely go Cobes ahead of LeBron.
Really?
Just because he's a winner.
Yeah.
He's a winner. He's just a winner. Like
I love Kobe. Actually, I used to hate Kobe.
Are you kidding
at one
me?
point?
You've got LeBron again ahead of Kobe.
I would. I think LeBron.
Why?
Because I think Kobe.
Can you see that door there behind you?
Yeah,
I don't just go for a
see
walk.
yourself out
Hey,
there.
I've got Kobe's jersey. I don't have a LeBron jersey. I love Kobe.
Bro, this year of all years, you say that too.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying. I think that's LeBron. You could make an argument. We're comparing to Jordan for starters. I think I would take LeBron over Kobe. I think Kobe, he had a lot of help. All right, I don't think he would have won those 5. Take out Shaq, he wouldn't have won those 3. The first 3, right?
Same thing going to be said with MJ as well, right?
Nah. I think you could have taken.
Shaq was always going to win a few.
Yeah. He was. They say he's the most dominant player of all time for a reason. He really used to dominate.
If he had MJ's like hunger.
I have Duncan ahead of LeBron, bro.
People were perplexed on what to do with Shaq. They had no answer. Like literally, his only the only thing they could really do to slow him down was get him to the free throw line.
Yeah,
that was his kryptonite. Yeah, the hacker Shaq, right? But I'm going to take LeBron over Kobe. I think he's more efficient. Kobe wasn't the most efficient player. Kobe also took a fair few years to sort of find his groove.
This is something I just looked up recently. LeBron's efficiency rating is bullshit, man. It makes no sense. So his shooting percentage is like incredible, like 0 to 3 feet. His 3 feet to 16 feet, his mid-range game is actually woeful. It just gets bolstered by the fact that he has a lot of his shots from close to the rim. And in clutch time situations, which is 3 minutes to 0 on that percentage goes down on both ends.
Yeah, I'd still look. I'm a Laker fan. I love Kobe.
How does this even make sense?
I just think LeBron's a better player than Kobe. Yeah, I think he just provides more to the team. I believe he's more efficient.
So you think LeBron didn't have help like Kobe did?
I think he definitely had help, but look at the help that Kobe had versus the help LeBron had.
If LeBron stayed in Cleveland the first time and he got people to him, maybe 1 star or whatever, and he did it in Cleveland, if he won 1 ring in Cleveland the first time, that would have trumped his 2 rings in Miami easy. Even maybe his 3 rings. Because you know what? He brought a fucking woeful team to the finals. He lost, he did well with that team. But he rode the coattail. He did what Durant did with the Warriors in Miami when he went to Miami with Wade. They had 3 top 10 players, man. 3 top 10 players.
I don't know. Look,
and they got swept. Their losing
that was
margin.
Dallas. That was a.
So LeBron's 2 losing finals, 2 sweeps, right?
Spurs.
The Spurs the first time around, and then Dallas. Did he get swept by Dallas?
Nah, I think they lost 4-2.
Who did he get swept by? The Warriors.
Yeah, I think Warriors. They won 1 series 4-0, didn't they?
I don't know. Anyway, when he got swept by, I think he lost to Dallas in 5.
No, I think weren't they down like 2-0 or up 2-0 and they just lost the next 4?
Anyways,
just making that up.
So I Jamie.
No, become the Jamie. I'm glad you took that role.
But
can you look at the audio levels, please?
Yeah. So statistically, those 2 finals losses were the biggest margins of any finals loss in the modern era. He didn't just lose in finals; he got his ass handed to him.
I just think LeBron.
Kobe wouldn't do that.
I think in terms of mental toughness, Kobe. I'll give the edge to. Yeah, Kobe was the closest to Jordan in terms of mindset, right? But I just think in terms of...
It's like if he followed his blueprint.
He did. He really did. Just ruthless, anything to win. He had that sort of real alpha.
That work ethic.
The work ethic. He didn't care if he ruffled feathers.
Yeah.
In terms of demeanor, mindset, aura, he's the closest thing. But I just think in terms of statistics, in terms of making teammates better, I'm going to give the edge to LeBron, and also you got to also give some props to LeBron. And I'm not the I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I'm actually not a LeBron fan at all.
Oh, Sounds like it.
Yeah.
But when you say is
Right.
he better than Kobe, I think he is. I think he's been playing at a high level for a longer period. Kobe,
You could say the
think
same
about-
thing about
Hey,
him and
I've got
MJ.
another question. Who would be better in Space Jam 2, Kobe or LeBron?
Kobe, no doubt. All I have to say is LeBron tried to patent Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, that is the corniest shit I've ever heard. That is, what's the
Exactly.
expression?
That just,
Man, his teammate fucked his mum.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Like,
totally
come
forgot
on,
about
it's
that.
True.
You know what I
I
mean?
forgot about that. Wow.
What's the
And the guy,
you know what?
that guy ended up being
Kobe's
a crack
better.
addict too.
No shit.
Yeah, Delonte West.
I heard this on a rap song by The Game. That's how I knew about all this. I was like,
Delonte
what?
West. He's not doing well. He looks terrible.
That's
Oh, well.
Cultural appropriation. That's the
Yeah, that's the
expression.
word, yeah.
Taco Tuesday. That shit's been around forever.
look, I think LeBron's very narcissistic as well. Like I'm talking like the basketball side. I think he's very manipulative in the way he's portrayed and the way he wants to be portrayed. Do you know what I mean? He's perfect for this modern soft era.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's a good way to put it.
He's not a hard man. Like he can't he can't get my respect, man.
Yeah.
Just the way he acts. Do you know what I mean?
He's got
too
diva
many
qualities.
things.
He's yeah.
There's a lot of things that have just keeps diminishing from him becoming the greatest of all time as well. Wasn't there a game where like he complained about the air conditioner or something and he left?
That does sound familiar, but I can't.
I heard this from a guy that's fully into NBA. This is years ago, but he was saying how much of a bitch he is that he complained about the aircon, like the temperature and stuff. He was just having a full fit and he walked off.
Dude, when he
There was
wins,
the cramps situation. Would Jordan succumb to cramps?
No.
I don't think he would, right?
Yeah.
you know what? Look, when he wins, he'll take all the credit. When he loses, he's the first to like blame other people.
Yeah.
He'll get his coaches fired.
Yes.
He'll get people
Yes.
traded. He's the GM, man.
That's what I mean.
Everything that's done, he can blame himself
He's
for.
the most
Yeah.
pampered player in the history of
Yeah.
the sport.
Oh,
Everyone just seems to want to accommodate for him. He's got no accountability. Like you said, he'll always sort of, he's not accountable. He'll pass the blame onto other things, other variables. Whereas Jordan, if he takes a loss like a man,
Yeah.
and he'll hit the gym right away.
I mean, all the things that we've been saying have basically we've settled the debate, right? It has to be settled. It's not like we're the be all.
Yeah.
We're not the answer.
Yeah.
But
look, we're pretty close.
Imagine TNT or like an NBA show off this little shitty conversation.
Nah, look, yeah, I don't have him top 5. I barely have him like top 7. I fucking prefer Larry Bird over LeBron, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, look,
Bird's a badass.
Yeah.
he is. They're the old
short
school
shorts
cats.
as well,
They don't fuck around.
They
You
don't
know,
fuck around, you know.
They weren't bitching about soft calls. That's the thing now. Today's game is the refs have a lot more sway.
Yeah.
Fouls are given a lot more loosely. It's just a different era. And you wonder how LeBron would have done in the 90s and how Jordan would do today.
Well, I think LeBron would have done. You know, this is actually no. I actually think he would have adjusted better, and he would have still been a big bull, but he would have adjusted better. And you know what? He wouldn't, because LeBron's a great player and he's great.
Oh, here we go. Now you're saying he's great.
Hey, I'll start off every sentence with I really like LeBron James. I think he's a good player, but I just think he's soft, and I think the 90s would have hardened him.
But it could have also gone another way. He could have, like in terms of longevity, he would have had a lot more bumps and bruises, how he would have responded to those bumps and bruises. I think he would have actually done a lot worse in that era. And I think Jordan would do better in today's day, in today's game, because he would have had so many more calls. Like, how he got bashed up by the Pistons.
Did you
Can you imagine that today?
Oh,
there wouldn't be a Pistons standing because they'd be teched out of the game.
Did you hear Channing Frye saying that he would people wouldn't want to play with Michael Jordan in this day?
Because today people are a lot.
Could you imagine
softer.
Durant and Jordan in the same team?
The man that tweets that Durant would be doing.
Yeah, Jordan wouldn't allow players like that to be on that team.
Yeah. Or if you want to be in this team, this is how you got to be.
Yeah.
You know what though? Look, a part of me looks at it like this. Like Jordan did come from a bit, like you can tell he's had great family upbringing, great family values. Like maybe LeBron didn't have that. Like LeBron comes from the streets a little bit. Like he comes from a mum.
Yeah, no father. Is that right?
No father, that kind of thing. Like he had a single mum. You know what I mean? Like he does come from a rougher childhood. Like that does play into him being a little bit more emotional about certain things. Maybe like I don't know. I'm kind of forgiving him. Like I'm giving him a one up on that.
Yeah. They also say that adversity, anyone, generally speaking, people who have faced some sort of adversity throughout their childhood or their upbringing, they tend to be more successful in whatever they do. It thickens their skin. So it can also be it can have its positives in a way. Like, not that I wish people to grow up in those sort of environments, but you can. There's a lot of stories where you see people that grew up in the streets or they might have lost somebody, and all it did was help them with whatever avenue they chose. So it can, it's a...
I mean, isn't Allen Iverson a good example of that as well? Like his
but
upbringing, he went to that, he was great, but then like he steered back into that path. I guess he couldn't resolve any, like
he finished broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess he filled up those voids, never dealt with it. And then I guess when shit hits the fan or things aren't going his way, he would just go.
This modern NBA, they are like, they're giving fucking $100 million contracts to people who haven't proven shit.
Yeah.
So why do you, like, now it's not about proving how good you are on the court. It's like, I'm just relating it back to basketball now. Like these guys come from like AAU basketball and like they literally don't need to prove anything to have a franchise built around them anymore. It's a bit sad. Like they all got shoe deals. Yeah. Like they're worried about their brand. Do you know what I mean? For them, winning isn't the ultimate goal. It's about securing their future. So when you have that, how are you going to get the best competition? Because in fucking the 90s, these guys were like, it's USA basketball practice and they're killing each other to win. Now it's like the All-Star games. Don't get me wrong, this year was separate. This year was great.
I missed the All-Star game this year. I heard it was great though.
This was the best All-Star game.
Paid dividends, the new format.
Yeah, it was actually, you know who I credit to that? Like a little bit, Giannis.
I love Giannis.
Giannis was just aggressive. Man.
Yeah.
Like he just wants it. He's got that old school. You've got a couple of players that have got that old school, like Westbrook, Giannis. You've kind of got that old school mentality where like, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
You know
it's the culture he's from. You know, he sort of grew up, obviously he's in Greece. He probably played a bit of Eurobasket. So he's grown up differently.
Is it a bit of gay sex?
Because he's Greek.
Yeah, I like Giannis. He sort of brings a certain intensity when he plays. And for him to do that in an All-Star game, I give him credit because I don't like to see players laugh and high-five the opposing team.
It's like Steph Curry. I love Steph Curry, but he's just too much. He's too happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. Now, the thing that, so I just wanted to say something about Steve Kerr. Like him being from the 90s, that whole era of that tough basketball, and then him coaching, right, winning these 3 championships and having this kind of looks like a real friendly environment, the team. Everyone's all happy, chappy, and they're winning. Is that a thing where that can still work instead of the Jordan, like that aggressiveness?
Did you hear in the actual doco where he goes, I was like, I only got 10 shots a game, so I was like nervous about every single shot that I may have missed because it's going to. But then there's a snippet of him actually talking to Steph, like I think it was last year or the year before, and he's like, he's mic'd up, right? Yeah. And he's talking to Steph, and he's like, hey man, you know, look, you're 0 from, or like you've only hit 1 out of your last 10 shots, but like, you know what I love about you is that you can just keep shooting them, man. Like, you know, like you don't care, and you know that's what I love about you because. Wow. So he's kind of. He comes from that hard, like shit, so much pressure, and I can't play my best, to like teaching a philosophy of people just being able to play loosely and play with their own flavor.
That's good. Yeah, you can see that.
He's taken what he's learned and he's now sort of passing it on and giving them more opportunity. Like Steph, you got to let Steph shoot. You know he's going to recalibrate at some point, even if he's having an off game, and he's going to start, you know, just knocking everything.
Steve Kerr's career as a coach as well. Do you think he'll still win championships?
So here we go.
With the current Warriors squad.
I feel like we're getting into something here. So now we're going into the Jerry Krause. Is it the organization that's getting these championships, or is it the players?
No. It's definitely the players. Don't get me wrong.
Definitely it's definitely the players. However, there's you have to give credit to GMs that put together good teams. It's not easy today.
What about the coaches?
Coaches as well.
Yeah.
I firmly believe
That you don't need a coach.
no. That I just firmly believe that what's his name? Coach of the Bulls, the one we just talked about.
Phil Jackson.
Overrated.
Because that team was
Stacked.
stacked.
He had 2 stacked teams.
The Lakers and Bulls. No.
He had 2 top 10 players always. 2.
You're going to say Rodman was the top 10 player?
No, Pippen.
Pippen and Jordan. Who else?
And
Who's
then
the
you had
third?
Kobe and Shaq.
Oh, so he had 2 top 10
Yeah.
players.
So he's talking about like the two.
Okay, sorry. Yep.
2 teams that
I
he
see.
coached.
Arguably, he had 1 and 1B. And then with the Lakers, you had 1 and 2, the 2 best players in the league.
Valid point.
Yeah.
That's a very valid point.
Look,
However,
Popovich?
I think Pop's the best coach of all time, personally.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he's been doing it for so long with the same team.
5
And
championships
I
over,
think Spurs
and
are
they're all sporadic.
I think Spurs are the blueprint. I don't know if that's the right sort of word to use, but I feel like they are a testament to just consistency, keeping the right sort of culture at an organization. Like I think every team should
Pop's
aspire.
alpha, though, you know?
Sorry?
Pop's alpha. You've always got an alpha.
He is, yeah. No, I just think that I take my hat off. I feel like every team would aspire to be like the Spurs organization. You don't hear much negative publicity up until the Kawhi sort of fallout.
Yeah.
You had never heard anything bad about the Spurs organization.
And Kawhi's a weird cat, man.
I love Kawhi.
It do what it do, baby.
I'm a funny guy. I love Kawhi. I think he's a breath of fresh air in today's NBA. You know, there's so much bravado. You know, you got your players like CP3, Kevin Garnett, always flexing muscles. You know, just trying to play this sort of tough guy. Whereas Kawhi just doesn't give a shit about his surroundings. He just loves the game of basketball, and he plays amazing. Like his style of, he's actually in terms of his game, it is sort of resembles Jordan in a sense, especially his mid-range game.
Yeah.
Like when I look at his sort of fadeaway, mid-range
There's probably
fadeaways.
only, 2-3 players who have a really good mid-range. Probably him, DeRozan,
Yep.
maybe KD. Like just
KD.
unbelievable mid-range.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I do enjoy watching Kawhi. He's a bit of a breath of fresh air for me in terms of just his approach, his demeanor, just his aura, I guess. Yeah. Should we switch gears a little or what?
I think we because we're an hour in now,
Honestly,
58 minutes.
I feel like we have thrashed b-ball.
Yeah.
But then again, you know what?
Nah, like the thing is, we gotta try things out.
The
Yeah,
thing is,
and topics.
If we can keep going, we can keep going on the Last Dance. Like I would even and then we can reference into the '90s culture of Air Jordan, man.
Air Jordan.
That whole combination of what happened with Nike and Jordan and the '90s, that whole urban flavor, it was like a lightning in a bottle, man.
That's crazy. The whole story about Nike as well, and the parents making that decision for him, saying no, don't be silly. Go to Nike.
He wanted to go with Adidas,
He wanted to go with
right?
Adidas.
Could you
See,
imagine
that's
that?
another thing I had no clue about. I'm sure we all.
I
Did he talk about that?
I didn't know Nike was literally nothing before Jordan. I thought they were still something.
They were just track
They were just
running.
track gear.
Yeah, but I didn't know that Jordan was the first athlete, and he was actually literally they would be nothing without him.
Mm.
He was the blueprint.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And what was it? 200,000 shoes sold in the first year or something.
Something like that.
And just the culture behind just the shoes alone, that. I think shoes became collectibles probably due to Jordans, and now this massive shoe collecting culture has sort of evolved from it.
There was only 2 sets of shoes. There was your Converse All-Stars, which
they look so bad.
And then you had the new Converse ones that were the ones that were promoted by
the Chuck Taylor ones?
I don't know what they were, but all the big stars promoted them.
Yeah. They had
Chucks,
But they just had
they had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird.
they had them in
that
different colours. It was green and white.
Yeah.
It was just completely
That was their
generic.
shoe. But that's the crazy thing with Jordan.
And the funny thing is
brand.
the Jordan ones are still the best looking ones.
And they're so expensive, man. I'm certain
Dude,
ones, they're so rare.
There was an influx in terms of the prices as soon as this documentary came out.
Oh, it's insane.
He's
The thing that's the power of that brand. People when you wear it, you feel like you're cool, or I don't know. It's like you're at this mental state that
I just want to be like Mike.
I want to. Everyone wants to be like Mike. That was the thing. As a kid, that's how I liked him. Was just the whole look to him as well. I remember my dad's got this VH on his JVC video camera. There was Nike earrings. We were at this place called Victor Harbour, and there was like a little stall. And I was on camera. I'm like, I want Nike earrings. I want to be like Jordan. Jordan never wore Nike earrings. I was like, I wanted to be like Mike.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, you had the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, in terms of cultural icons. Like, this was an era of Michael Jordan. This was an era of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Prince. You just had so much, like...
Icons.
So, like, Schwarzenegger. I think, you know what I mean? Sylvester Stallone.
About Leonardo DiCaprio at the end, near the end. The Zocco as well. Like, they're both, like, talking to each other after Game 6. Yes. But, like, Jordan was, like, liking him. And then things like, man, that was poetic. Like, they were just, like, fans of each other, you know?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. The cultural icons back then, it was just a different era. Like, I feel like today it's easier to make it, in a sense. There's more platforms for you to make it. And I feel like there's a saturation of talent.
There's a saturation of the same looking person. I don't know which rappers who, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, man, if you just put a Lil in front of your name, you're going to make it. You're going to release an album. Just tap your face up.
All the music sounds the same. Like, I don't understand most of it. I'm really showing my age here.
You don't want to know today's hip-hop.
Nah,
or just it's pop culture.
I'm out of tune and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. So social media, it's just, everyone, before you had to get signed to a record label, it was like all these contracts. It was like, now the internet has just... It's given the power to everyone. It's giving people voices that a lot of people shouldn't have voices.
That's right. No,
even us.
Totally.
It's kind of ironic, huh?
Nah, these are voices because we're being reasonable. If we were voices like, fucking, the 5G towers are fucking taking over this.
But I totally agree. Like,
we should have a podcast or something like that, though.
Nah, I want to have Jimmy. So it's brother. He's an Eddie brother.
He's a good guest for that
one. But I think there's a lot more platforms to have your voice heard now. And like you said, there's a lot of people that shouldn't have their voice heard, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And just the quality overall now, I think people are, because we're getting our, whatever it is, we're not paying for, like, I remember, just as an analogy right now, when I used to buy an album back in the 90s, I remember, going to the shop, purchasing it, unwrapping it, putting it in the CD player, and every song you'd make sure you'd really get a good taste of it. And then you'd listen to it for 6 months, and then you'd get over it, buy another one. Now, I'm accustomed to getting new music daily. Yep. So I don't actually sit there and appreciate anything properly anymore. And I've geared myself where I need new information constantly.
It's all about the dopamine now.
Yes,
so for example,
that's right.
Our attention span.
And artists can't come up with like unique shit as much because it's all about like, I have to just feed the beast. If I don't feed the beast, I'll become irrelevant. Yeah. And when I become irrelevant, it's too hard to get
That's what it is. Everyone's fighting for it, just being relevant.
Yeah.
And they're just
there's masters of it. Like for example, Drake, I would say, is still like
killing it.
But even then, I don't even listen to his albums now. Like, I can't be fucked.
There's so much shit out there.
Yeah, there's just too much.
It's hard to keep up with.
Give me the hits.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing a lot of albums now only have 8 to 10 tracks because they understand that people are going to get sick of the content pretty quickly and then just move on to the next. So to stay relevant, it's now a matter of releasing on a more frequent basis, but less.
But then you've got like Kendrick Lamar. That's just quiet.
Because he's more of an artist.
Exactly.
And it shows. It proves in the pudding.
J. Cole. You got Dr. Dre. Who's only done 2 albums, man.
Dr. Dre shits me. I love him. But the fact that he withheld Detox, that's just not on. Especially today's day and age when the amount of bullshit that's getting released.
But
you
maybe
gotta stand out, man. You don't.
He says in the documentary, Defiant Ones, that it's a young man's game.
It is.
What's the last classic album you guys have got?
Last classic.
What's the newest classic album in your repertoire? I'm curious. Like the one that you're like, classic. Shit, this is a classic.
That's a good question.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is up there for me as a classic.
I might have to go through my phone
because I had that what's called that ISO Dr. What was it? The Bill Clinton listening to albums. Your favorite?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to choose. It's picking 4.
Dude,
Like ultimate classics, but what's the latest classic?
Yeah, what's things like? Because I'm trying to say, like, there hasn't been any new classic albums that you'd have
How
to say.
far back can we go?
You know what?
Say the latest.
2010.
By 2010?
In the last 10 years, in the last decade, what's the classic albums that you've seen? 10 years, man.
When did
You've only been around 35 years.
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy would be that for me.
Hey, you got I like this. This is good. Next will be 34. When did the Ecstatic come out by Mos Def?
By what?
The Ecstatic.
The Ecstatic? That was like early 2000s, wasn't it?
Was it? I was hoping that snuck in.
See, I don't even know, man.
That's a tough.
No, it's the whole because everything's like streaming.
What is a classic?
But even movies. Remember, like going to Blockbuster and Video Easy, going to pick the movie, and how excited you were, like taking it back home, putting it in DVD or VHS player.
Get it back.
Exactly. Now it's like,
I gotta watch it one more time.
now we can just pick someone on Netflix and be like, I'm not feeling this. 10 minutes in,
Yeah, that's true.
choose something else. We've got too many options.
We've
That's
got
our
too
problem.
many options. Too
And
much
our
at our
attention
disposal.
spans are being fucked.
Shit.
And our kids, we'll get into the conversation with your child as well. However, but like I'm looking at my nephew, my niece, and like their attention spans, it's not.
You really want to?
They're not really good because they're getting quick content. They're getting 15-second little
They need a little dopamine hits.
dopamine hits, but that's not good.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Nah, we're victims to this technology,
Well,
unfortunately.
you're a parent. Like, what? Like, is
Let's get
there?
into
Like,
this
do
now,
you?
man.
Nice segue. There.
Yeah,
That was good. That was good.
Do you
Totally
know?
agree.
Like, are you scared about it? Are you nervous? Do you not? Does it not really? Do you think? Look, it's not that bad. You know, we can do what we can, like in terms of like the TV and stuff like that. Because we weren't stopped from watching TV. It was just a part like.
To a degree. I wasn't
degree.
allowed to. There was only like certain periods of time I had to sleep at this
But there
time,
was- there was
but
only
we
a
never
TV.
had. I never had videos watching on a computer or anything like that.
But now, if there's no TV, you've got the iPad. You've got
Yeah,
this.
that's
Yeah,
right.
iPhone.
And I'm guilty of that. Like, I must admit, when I saw other parents, hand the phone, the iPad, I wouldn't really like it. I wouldn't look at it very fondly. But we have such busy lives today. We cram as much as we can. We work 9 to 5. Then you come home. You want to keep everyone happy. Pay some attention to your wife. Pay some attention to your kid. And then that sometimes you need that 2 seconds to do something. And you'll find just to distract your kid, you might hand the iPad to them, and then what happens is they start developing an addiction to it.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. That's the part where you sort of have to go, all right, how am I going to counter this?
Yeah.
And that's what we have sort of found ourselves doing just recently. So my daughter is 2.5 now. She was actually really good. She didn't really take too much of a liking to technology. But just recently, I'd say in the last 2 months, I'm finding now she sort of likes to have her iPad out while she eats.
Yeah.
While she's doing things. It's sort of just there, and I sort of, keeps her occupied. And I wanted to not sort of fall into that situation. So now we're trying to be a bit more
Aware.
As long as you're aware of it,
Yeah.
and I reckon this pandemic has probably made you realise as well a bit more. Because you've got more time to yourself.
Correct. Yeah,
right?
that's right. I've had more time to spend with my daughter.
You know,
recently.
you know what scares me more than anything, right? Just the unknown of technology. And when I say the unknown of technology, we know what we use it and all that sort of stuff. But how long have like the smartphones, the smart devices been around? Not super
10,
long.
12 years, right?
20,
Yeah.
10, 20. We don't really know the overwhelming effects of the radiation. I'm not trying to get like all conspiracy, but we just don't know because it hasn't been around long enough.
We're the guinea pigs.
We are
of
the
this.
guinea pigs. Now, for example, I heard something recently. I just heard it. I don't know how. Like, I don't have any credits or like I don't know references of where it came from or anything. But I heard it, and it kind of like made a little bit of sense that like iPads or iPhones have like a blue light behind it or something like that, and that certain babies like when their brains are forming, that light will kind of affect it a little bit in terms of the development of their brain, stuff like
I can
that.
see that.
And I'm like, oh shit, that's scary. I don't know enough about it, but it's something like we don't know what technology is doing good or bad for like for the kids, for us. You know what I mean? Like I sleep. This phone in my hand is on me 24 hours a day. Like it's on me. Like I may not be
We're
using it,
cyborgs.
but like
Yeah.
this is next to me when I'm sleeping. It's on the bench right next to my head when I'm sleeping. I don't know if this is emitting anything. I don't know shit. Yet I'm a product of my environment, and
We all
I
are.
buy it. Like I just ordered the new one. I'm waiting for it to come into Telstra. You know, so it's like
It's a part of us.
Yeah,
it's so
yes.
important to us. If we lose our phone, we're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It is. It fucks
I'd
you up
rather lose my
mentally.
wallet than my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Easy.
Now, with the whole thing with like kids watching things on the iPad and stuff, I think I don't really agree with it to do it. But every parent's different, right? And I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, because
where's
you need
your
to
kids,
distract. Huh?
Look, it's easier said than done. Like you sort of, again, I had the same sort of, thoughts. But you find in today's day and age, I'm not making excuses. It's hard to.
It's just not good enough, Tamer.
Look, don't get me wrong. I actually think we've handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
But there's moments where you just need them to be occupied because you can't pay attention to them.
But what do you reckon?
24/7.
Don't you reckon wine and pills to the kids would be a better option?
Yeah, just put the pills into like the
That's
brain.
it. Just make a little MJ cocktail.
I haven't quite tried. I've tried the wine, but not with the.
Okay, look, now that we're here, we trust, technology with our kids. What about CBD and stuff like that? Where
Are
does
you trying to be a CBD salesman right now? Oh,
No, I'm not. Okay. But who judges what's healthy, what's not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff is supposed to be healthy for us. We're able to take it. It's just become legal. Why can't you give it to your kids? It's herbs. I don't know. Who's making?
I think we need to
these
speak to
rules?
someone that comes from that background, that knows about that a bit more. In terms
I
of
don't
flavor.
trust, man. I don't trust a lot of people anymore.
I don't trust media. That's for sure. And people,
Yeah.
For example, how many vaccines have you given? How many? There's a lot more vaccines now than there used to be.
there are, but I can't remember exactly. We've had a few. There's
Over 10?
I don't think about. No, I think it'll be. I'm guessing she's 2.5 now, maybe 3, 4.
24.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't. I don't quite know. I've got really bad
Somebody's
memory,
gonna get into
unfortunately. Yeah. This is a question for my wife. I'm not too sure, but she's had a few shots, and these are under doctor's advice.
Yeah.
So we trust them, and we're hoping that it's going to keep them safe. But were these things being injected into them 100, 200 years ago?
No.
But has the environment changed?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And it's like kids have to.
you just don't know. You just don't know.
Are you an anti-vax or are you pro? I love this.
No.
This is are you Democrat or Republican?
Are you bloods or crip?
I don't know. It's a tough
These
one.
are people are labeling you now. You know what I mean? People are going to judge your answer, man.
You really put me on the spot.
I don't give a fuck. Anti-vax. I'm anti-vax.
Anti-vax. I'm going to get a t-shirt made of that. Anti-vax,
Hey,
bitches.
that's not bad. But it's funny.
And then you just have an off-white design with it.
No, but people will not judge, but
It's a big debate.
It is.
There's people on two sides. I don't know. I look at, there's benefits to vaccines as well. I'm sure there is. And there's another side to it. It's what are they actually injecting into us as well? Now, I'm an idiot. I'm not researching into this. Well, none of us are researching into
fuck
this.
Bill Gates, bro.
I agree with you with that. Fuck Bill Gates. You hear about him shooting dust into the sun?
Into the sun.
He wants to shoot dust into the sun for climate change, to cool it down.
Bro, why does this guy think he's the savior of the world?
Yeah, so
Just fuck off.
I'm just waiting for someone to just pop him like Kennedy in the
Gone
car.
to his Instagram
Yeah, it's hate.
and just the comments.
Well, everyone's
Oh man, it is actually crazy.
He's copping it. Well, there's some sort of petition with 500,000 signatures that are he needs to be investigated for crimes against humanity.
Well, he was friends with Epstein as well.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. Epstein, the Clintons.
What's your thoughts on the Epstein situation?
I reckon.
Is this the whole Pizzagate thing?
Do you reckon?
No.
The Lolita Express, the
That's
child pedophile ring.
That's Pizzagate.
Pizza, yeah, it is actually.
No, wasn't Pizzagate different to Epstein?
It's separate.
They're separate.
I don't think it's the actual same ring.
No, it's not the same ring.
It's similar.
I'm pretty sure it's different. They're
Similar
different
sector,
stories.
just
Really?
different.
But it's similar fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Within politics and people high up in power. But yeah, Epstein was
Because it was that.
he was the guy that got all this money, right? And I believe that the guy from Victoria's Secret, the CEO, funded him. So he bought him a mansion, this island, and he would just facilitate and have people on planes, Bill Clintons, this and that, come to the island. There's got a little temple there as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? Are they fucking slaughtering little children? You just don't know.
But I watched this documentary called Under the Shadows recently. I don't know if you guys have heard
Is this
of it.
about Epstein?
It's about Epstein and this Pizzagate fiasco,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Bro, some of the
online or
Netflix.
It
I
was
think it's
like
gonna
on
come out.
YouTube. I heard it. No, it was on YouTube, and like I don't know if it actually got taken down, but I heard like this guy that I met in LA. He's a full
Conspiracy guy.
what's that? Macca, the red hat dude. He's a full Republican.
Oh, yeah. Oh, MAGA.
He's a MAGA dude, yeah. And he sent me. He goes, "Man, check this out." I'm like, "All right, fuck it, I'll check it out." Like I met the guy.
You're
once.
probably just intrigued, like, oh my God, America wants to speak.
No. I met the guy once, and some of the shit he puts on Instagram is just like all political. I just leave it there for the value. Like he's a funny dude. So I checked it out, and yeah, the documentary is pretty out there. Like there's some stuff in there. I'm like, oh look, I don't know how true that is, but like there's some of the stuff is like really creepy about like that these so-called celebrities, these so-called politicians, that they feed on like certain chemicals that are released in children's bodies when they experience fear. And they use that and extract that from them to keep themselves young.
That's full on.
I'm like, what did I get myself? But the way the documentary was actually made makes you think like, shit, this is
it's definitely out there. These
like I don't know, like you know what?
It's out there.
Under the shadows. Like I'm saying this shit now, we could be, that could be onto us, bro.
Well, I don't care. Like, I listen to a few podcasts. Like,
Look, maybe
you go to Alex Jones.
Maybe
there's a comedian.
You might need to edit this stuff out.
No, I'm not editing anything out. This is all in there. Even when you said the N word 15 times, it's all on there.
What did I say?
The N word.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, bro. Oh, far out. I just got nervous.
That's one thing you can't say. You can't say the N word and the word that rhymes with maggot.
Oh. I can
It's
say
funny like what's become taboo.
The word I can say that word, bro. I got no.
We just lost a lot of our audience, man.
Nah. Look,
Everyone knows.
no, the thing with this one, we're mucking around. Or are we? I don't know. Like, I didn't say that word. The other person did that sitting next to me. Now, with the N word, right?
My Instagram's about to get a lot of hate.
No.
I think your followers are just like dwindling right now. You lost 100 already.
That's gold. Now, back to the N word and with the N word, when we would say it through music, we're not saying it with a hard ER at the end.
Yeah,
I've
There's
never
no hard
said it.
R's.
It's intent.
No, you have. No, we say it with the songs and it's with a soft A at the end.
Yeah.
Look, we're living in Australia. We're not
understand
coming across
context.
racist.
We don't understand.
It's not. No, there's no bad intentions with it.
right.
But we are influenced by the music, and we say it. I went to Kanye's concert when he did My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He got the microphone, pointed out. He goes, I want everyone to say MJ gone, our N word dead. So he made a whole, and Kanye's fans are white,
Yeah.
really white, Australia, especially. The whole stadium in Sydney was like, "Ow, Ninja dead."
You know what? It was like they felt liberated,
Yeah.
saying, "Well, I can actually say this and get away with it right now, right?"
No.
But I don't know if you saw, there was footage of Kendrick at a concert,
Oh, that white girl.
and the white girl, he basically got her on stage, and she started rhyming along with him, and she said the N word, and then he stopped the track, and he's like, "Hey, you can't say that."
Yeah, but
But
why
I
would
felt
you?
like he set her up in a sense.
You
like,
set her
I think
up.
that was uncalled for.
Oh,
It's in the
he actually
lyrics.
full stop.
So
seriously,
he called her out on it.
Yeah.
But
it's
he
part of
put
the song.
That's right. I thought that was.
So
a
she
little
would
bit
have no
loaded
ill
on.
intentions, like she's saying, because it's in the music.
Exactly.
We're repeating the words.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You know what? That's changed my view on Kendrick a little bit now.
it was.
That was that.
I didn't like it.
That does taint it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a massive Kendrick fan. I respect him. He's definitely one of the better new
He probably
school.
just got nervous and what do I do in that situation? And he's automatically, you can't say that word. Right?
Like, that
maybe-
defends him, bro.
You know, I'm looking at two angles here.
It could be because it'd be deeply embedded. They've always it's probably a bit of a reflex action for them when someone's another race says that word, they sort of go on their defense.
Especially white people. Now, we're ethnics. We're a minority. We're minorities, so...
I'm allowed to call you like...
Call me what?
We can rap it. When we just to each other, when we text, yeah, for sure, my Nintendo. But it's all, there's no ill intention with it.
That's right. You can't look, if you're rapping to a track, you can't stop like it's some dubbed version.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Edit it out. You just
and you know what's the worst? When the radio will censor that word, so but we have to say that word, so they're making us say it. They put it on us.
It's a tricky one, but like I said, I think intention is the main thing. If you're saying it, in a derogatory way with the ER.
Exactly. It's all about intention.
The ER and the, then context, the context, how they're trying to come across. Yeah. Whereas if it's sort of why you're rapping to a Tupac track or something, it's different, right? It's more, actually, if anything, we're paying homage to the race, the culture, if anything, right? But I understand.
I can't believe you said it. You said "schmag it" really loud.
Well, for me, I grew up with that word, No,
we said it like.
I can't believe you're scared to say it.
Nah, I've got gay friends.
But
you know what? I've got gay friends that say that word as well, and they call me that, and I piss myself. Now the thing is, saying that word, I say it as well. I'll say it to you, but the thing is, the intention behind that as well. I'm not calling you a homosexual. Yeah. It's just this word that we've used. Eminem, for example, suck my dick.
Yeah. Even if you watch Eddie, I think Eddie Murphy's got a film where he says it from Beverly Hills Cop. He says it.
There's two ways you got to look at it. See me, I'm woke. So
you can't just say you're woke and we're not. Believe me, I'm woke, bro.
That one made me the greatest. No. So in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm above this bullshit. I can say whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't believe it's derogatory. I've used it when I was younger, and now for some strange reason, it's become a word that you can't use, right? Now, when I look at you, you're a middle-aged white dude. Tamer.
Shit. Middle-aged white guy. That is like calling me the N-word.
No.
With the ER on the end.
No. You should live in fear, my friend. You are the, scapegoat for everything. You've got no power, man. You can't talk about anyone about anything because...
Can you elaborate?
I'm just so for example...
Because of the colour of your skin.
Pretty much.
So in today's age, you being white...
it's like male shaming.
Aren't we all white?
Yeah,
we're all Caucasian.
I'm not say Al Pacino.
We have a little bit of. We have some color though. We're not we do. We're not white. From
look at us justifying how ethnic we are.
We're not like some bogan from Mildura.
I'll tell you one thing. Yeah. I'm gonna avoid saying the N word and the F word throughout this whole podcast thing.
Fuck.
No. The one that rhymes with maggot. just cause I just don't want the smoke after.
Done.
And it's gonna come if it does.
Can I say it one more time?
I already said it here. It.
I dare you. I double dare you.
No, I won't.
Yeah. It's funny though. You would have never thought that word would be taboo.
That word,
right?
Yeah, nah.
But it's funny how things have changed.
Changes. How about midgets?
I take offense to that shit.
Political correctness has just gone too far. I feel like we're losing our, just
for sure.
Exactly.
We're losing personality, we're losing character.
Brings that back to what I said. People having voices that they shouldn't have voices on. They're the ones that's taking control of the narrative.
Yeah,
that's what's happening today.
Very true.
They're the ones saying, no, you're not allowed to say that, you can't do this. So everyone's acting a certain way.
We're becoming, we're too obedient. I think.
Yeah. You know what? But the thing is, we've just gone through a pandemic. Should all this stuff really even matter? If you get people shouldn't really get hurt by the things that we just said right now.
I think
especially Burak saying.
Yeah. I think people
just opened up Pandora's box.
Yeah. I can tell you're itching to say that. I think people are too hypersensitive today. There's no question. And there's definitely bigger and better things.
I understand that, like, for example, if you have a social platform, like, for example, you are a big deal and you do have a voice, fair enough, you have to use that voice responsibly. But for every Joe Blow, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a racist. I'm not a homophobe. Like, I say nothing with, like, malice or ill intent. So, you know what I mean? Like, but for people to get super offended at what I say, that it's like hate. It's like, come on, man. Build,
I know.
Like, you know, you gotta build a tougher skin.
But you wouldn't go to
life's gonna hit you with a lot harder than what.
No doubt. It's not you're going to a homosexual and saying, "Hey."
No,
you know, like that's just messed up.
No, exactly.
Yeah, no,
you know what you say that word to your friends.
That's right. In a almost like a playful, joyful manner.
It's such a good word.
Yeah,
it's actually a good word. It comes out good.
Yeah,
if you watch the movie, if you watch the stand-up Delirious, my God,
yeah,
that's right.
That's after I watched that, I felt empowered.
A lot of that shit wouldn't fly today.
Because man, it's like were people just like okay with it back then, or were people seriously getting hurt by it, or was it because whatever? It's funny.
Like,
you know,
there's
what I mean? It's
so
funny.
many.
Like,
see,
I can take a joke. Now it's like no one can take a joke.
No,
you know, like if someone calls me, like for example, I'm like, you know, a Muslim. If someone that's non-Muslim says something about me, naturally, you know, I get offended.
You get offended.
Like, I can't help it. But, like, it's because society's built me up to be offended.
I think there's certain...
Not offended, but, like, you know, like, I don't get offended.
Someone goes, you're a terrorist.
If someone I don't want...
there's certain...
someone I don't want to say it, I get offended. That makes me automatically a hypocrite for saying certain words.
Yeah.
But it's like...
I think a good example of this was the Conor McGregor-Habib build-up, the pre-build-up to the fight. I think Conor crossed the line on a few topics when he spoke poorly about his family and religion. I think those are probably the two areas where I would probably be
trying to get under
offended. Yeah, it's the fight game. People say a lot of shit.
But there was no class in it.
No, it wasn't.
He's lost fans for that. I stopped following him, bro.
I hate Conor. Connor's rise.
I used to like
Connor's rise to the top was amazing to watch. And I'm glad we sort of came back. That was a good segue to the UFC.
I want to bring it back to
talk about it. But Connor's rise was amazing to watch. And I really gave him a lot of credit because he was taking any fight. And I understand the motivation.
He brought a lot of fans to the sport.
He did. He took UFC
I have to say,
another level.
He brought me, like, my first UFC that I came and watched with you guys was the Conor McGregor Aldo fight.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember.
And then I really got into it. Now it's like I don't like him, but I still love the sport.
Look, I've been watching UFC for about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. And he definitely took it to another level, which was great to see.
George St. Pierre was the one for me.
So I'm a John Jones fan, even though I'm not liking him as much. I don't. Hey, here we go. Here we go. Let's talk John Jones. Let's talk debate UFC.
I don't want to talk about John Jones.
Let's save it for another one.
No,
we're at an hour and a half. I swear I don't think do 2 Joe Rogan episodes today. 3 hours each.
I don't think you've got enough time in that thing.
Hang on, Jones.
I have for that guy. Look, we'll save it.
All right, let's save that. What about let's just talk about.
I want to bring back to what we said about like the people being sensitive, right? You know how people that have a voice, for example, let's say someone like Joe Rogan, if he said something like the F word, maggot, right? He can't say it. He would cop it hard.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, what's happening is like with Kevin Hart, for example, when he made those jokes like over 10 years ago about the son.
Bit him in the ass.
Not with him with the jokes. The fact that you can't bring up old content.
Yeah.
And then be accountable for it today.
Exactly.
Look,
is Eddie Murphy going to apologise for Delirious?
Exactly right.
Now, what we just had on this podcast, I was just thinking, let's say I bring this to a big game. 5-10 years from now, I'm #1 podcast in Australia, right?
Hey, it's going to happen.
Shit.
Oh, no, after watching Jordan documentary as well, it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm doing this I don't care how good it's going to be at the start. I'm just going to keep creating content, whether it's good or bad, it's happening. Now, let's say I do. 10 years from now, I'm a really popular podcaster in Australia, and then people go, let's go back to episode 2. And then my good friend here says that like he's in an opera as well. They could hang shit on me or us as well and say these guys are homophobes.
I don't apologise.
But you know what? And I will never apologise.
Not apologise because
I'm not apologising to the future. And you know what? If you blame me for this as well, fuck you too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's all content. It's all content. It's all intention as well.
Yeah.
If it's ill-intended, then okay.
You know what? I sort of generalize it as hate speech. If the intent is to hate and bring upon more hate and influence others to hate, then that I'm not for that. But if it's just sort of like a casual slur, I think people are being too sensitive these days.
Every race, like what's one word saying something to a Turkish person that'd be really offensive?
Gobbled.
Yeah.
So what's the exact meaning of that? I've heard it heaps of times.
Pretty much it's like a non.
You're just like, you're worse than shit.
Okay.
As in, what would no? I think the question was, what would someone say to a Turk?
Yeah,
that's derogatory.
Oh,
but they're not Turkish themselves.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So it'd be like, I don't know. I'm going to be really broad. Like maybe back in the days, wog was offensive, right? Maybe now it's like, yeah. Oh, thanks, man. That's cool. I don't know. It's a good one. Turks.
Oh, you know what? You cop the not being Turk, but being like from the Middle East.
Arab.
You're Arab.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Even though we're not
Turks, because where they fall geographically, we can sort of be put into a few different piles.
Not that there's anything wrong with Arabs. We're just not Arab.
Yeah, it's.
No, there is things wrong with Arabs. We'll get into that. Those fucking sand monkeys.
No, but like, for example, we're a minority right here. So, for example, I went to a school that was predominantly Aussie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
I copped it.
I did as well.
All the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And what word they use? Wog, right?
Wog. Yeah, Arab. I don't know. They just use a whole
Arab
bunch of shit.
didn't get thrown around as much. Arab got thrown around a lot more after 9/11.
Yeah,
and then there was that agenda by the media to sort of portray, Muslims and
they've been doing that
Arabs
for years and years.
But it really came to light. Like I think it sort of rose to the surface more so after. There was an agenda. There was always. There was the enemy in the 90s was like the Russians and the cold.
Albanians were always as well.
So now we're seeing who's the enemy now. It's China, it's Russia, right? There's always a common. If you just watch the news, you can sort of see how they're trying to manipulate us to to not like a certain.
Man, it'd be a bad time to be Chinese right now, and someone that's like being someone that grew up in Australia.
There's a lot of people in Australia who are predominantly racist, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For example,
we're very racist.
And the racial comes from, I guess, lack of education, like people from low socioeconomic statuses. Like you won't get those racial people from people that are, in private schools and stuff. But like the outer you go, the more it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
Look, there is. I want to explain the story. Right? There's some beauty to some racism as well if it's delivered good.
I'm intrigued to hear this. This is going to be interesting.
So me and my cousin would drive from Adelaide to Melbourne, right? And we stop halfway at one of those to the country, and walked inside this cafe.
Breakfast or?
Yeah, but they had like a range of food, like so hot food.
Servos, like
so the big servers, but then there's like a little strip of little like local businesses.
Yeah.
So we stop at one of those, right? We go into one. We're thinking, we'll get whatever hot chips or burger stuff. They had kebabs there, right? But they're called Euros. In that point, Euros. Yeah.
Great.
So this Aussie woman, we're like, can we get 2 chicken Euroses, please? And the lady's like, you guys look like you'd enjoy Euroses. And we're like, I'm like, that's fucking racist, man.
Is that what you said to her?
No, I started laughing.
But in your head, you're like,
I'm like, dude, openly racist. But like, it was a perfect delivery. Like, you guys look like the type that enjoy Euros.
You know what I love about it? We really don't get offended.
No, we don't.
Nah.
Unless you've got a chip on your shoulder, it's hard to offend us.
Nah.
So that's the beauty about living where we are. Now, if you were, I guess, in America, I find in America
tension's a lot more high.
It's a lot more high. Yeah. People, you can't call me that.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. Here,
it's very, I guess at our age as well, we just don't really care about it. But if it's someone that's just in your face out of nowhere, that hate crime like hits you and saying you effing this, you Turk, you fucking religious, whatever, and just going off like, then you're like, whoa, like that's super racist. But if it's as simple as a old white woman saying, you guys look like you guys enjoy Euros.
I'm pretty sure.
I love that.
She meant well. She meant well. It just came out
racist.
I'm going to put this out. All my best friends are racist. But they're all racist, like, to me. We're all racist to each other. It's hilarious.
Look,
Non-Turks
Non-Turks as well. You know what? But we're
Everyone's got racism in them, but it's not like real.
Yeah. It's
There's no
It's not
intent.
crossing the super line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's different levels of racism.
Yeah.
There's, MAGA racism.
Yeah.
There's
Like, get out of our country.
Yeah,
Like, you
and-
guys don't belong here. There's that racism, and there's like us cracking jokes.
Yeah.
And
But that's
making the stereotypes.
I think with joking, if you give it, you need to be able to take it. That's important.
100%.
And if you can't, then don't give it out.
You know what? It all comes down to common sense, and you've got to be able to judge the person you're speaking to if they're going to be okay to take that joke or not.
that's
a lot of
right.
people, a lot of people get offended as well.
And intention. Intention's the real key, but sometimes it's difficult to articulate or to demonstrate your intention. Some people come across a lot more aggressive, some more passive. So it's a tough one, but I think in the day, there's more important things to worry about than just some stupid slur, right? That's I think that's how I look at it. I've got pretty thick skin. I move on from things very quickly. That's it.
That's how we roll, man.
That's how we roll.
Big minorities. And we kind of got a whole pass as well to be kind of racist. Yeah, we can do it.
Look, I get offended at everything.
I think with like Turks in particular, we've got like if you look at like the Ottoman Empire, how far it's spread, you could argue you're so many different things, right? You really could. So
Have
technically,
you done the DNA test?
I actually really want to do it, but one of my cousins did it, and I think from memory, a big chunk was Persia, Iran.
Really?
Yeah.
So you are Arab?
Yeah. I think every Turk would have some Persian for sure. And I think there was like 1% Mongol.
They just put a stamp
I
on
reckon
everyone.
you'd have a
100%.
Do you think, yeah. I don't know. I heard
My dad did the test.
Do they look at, so can you give it anonymously? Like, do you have to provide your name?
I'm not sure.
That's something that would intrigue me.
Because the name you think that...
Because I think the name could give away a lot.
My dad's got, I think it was 45% British.
Okay.
And stuff.
Really?
Interesting.
What? Yeah, from there.
Wow.
And I was like, that's weird.
So you're the whitest guy here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. That was odd, but that was through not Ancestry. What's the other one? No, I think
there's Ancestry.com.
and there's another one. Forgot.
Yeah, my
I think it might have been
Ancestry.com. And what's the other one? There's another one. That's,
do they take blood samples or is it spit?
I think it's spit. I think it's saliva. Yeah. I think my cousin, another one of my cousins, sorry, my auntie's getting it done. So I'm intrigued to see what she gets.
What if someone that opens up the sample and just sneezes and then their DNA gets into that DNA?
What?
Yeah, it happens to be some.
So that's how my dad's one was 45% British.
There could be some really awkward moments if like a brother and a sister got it done and like they've got really
different. Yeah. That's what you'd want to do though.
That's why.
It had to be the same, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Of course. Have to be. That's why I think these guys, they must be some sort of rigorous testing.
Yeah.
And for them to, be around
I'm just
for
saying,
so
like,
long.
if they got like some different stuff, like their parents must be, there you go.
The milkman.
If it was
what was the DNA of the milkman?
I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Like that's
shit.
It's a DNA test. That's Jerry Springer stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think we should all just do it for a laugh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then send our DNA to the internet. We're just sending our DNA to the internet.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what my auntie comes back. And my cousin that had it done is from my mother's. These are all from my mother's side, so they should be fairly similar. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it'd be 50% similar. Like then, because the father or the mother.
That's right. Yeah. So let's see what happens there.
You know what? Let's wrap this up by saying, what did you learn from The Last Dance? Let's just link it to the theme, the original theme of this episode. What can you take from it? Like, and apply it to life? No, it's seriously. Pippin's a bitch.
Don't be a beat alpha. Okay, apply to life. Okay. Take it away, Tamer.
No, I was looking forward to you kicking it off. Do you want to kick it off, Davi?
All right. The whole focus and really just harnessing, like getting into that state of mind where you're that competitive. Now, I'm not saying that toxic competitiveness, like, but if you can use that as a motivation, for example, me with this podcast, I'm looking at who's the top 10, who are these people that's above, and then having a list, how can I grow and beat them? Not just by like numbers and stuff, like in terms of just engagement, everything. That's how I'm using that. I'm going to use that energy as fuel, because I've used that kind of energy. Like, let's call it the MJ effect. I've used it in sales before. I'll talk about it in another podcast, but briefly, I went to a health insurance, selling health insurance over the phone. My first month there, doing training, and on my first day there, I asked her, who's got the record here? This person that's been there for 9 years wrote 570,000 within a month. My second month there, I was like Game of Thrones stats, saying, all right, who's above me? And I just eliminated them all. And I wrote 711,000 in my second month there. But I was a psycho. I tapped into that psycho.
Yep.
So I want to bring that back into
your passion.
Into passion. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's what got the fuel going as well.
Fuck. All right. I guess when I look at the documentary, it's just that, like, you know, don't be a beta, be enough.
yeah, I guess, 100%.
Be Jordan, not different.
Be Jordan, exactly. No, man, that, like, no one's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, no, legit. Like, when you look at the whole idolization of Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Like, he said before he put this documentary out that he's like, you know, people aren't going to like me after this. And, you know, you find a lot of people like him more because he's relatable. You know what I mean? And that you don't have to be perfect you don't have to emulate this perception of being perfect for people to like you. If you bring people in and you show them the real you, and you're hungry, you know what I mean? That shows the kind of qualities that people like look up to. Like this documentary made me like Michael Jordan more than it did before. With his flaws.
He's actually he's a savage, but he's also very likable. Yeah. He's very compelling.
Everything he did, he earned. And like, he did through his, like, and you just got to respect that. You got to respect him being the hardest person working in the room always. The person,
and you see the vulnerabilities as well. That's what people will.
And he's still got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does.
Like, he's crazy.
Yeah. Also, but I think he just puts everything so eloquently. He does everything with flair. He's got class. He really does. I think, and he brings it to anything he's doing. You know, you can tell he's a true winner, and he takes pride in a lot of things. I grew up idolizing him, and it was just very refreshing to see why I idolized him, because you do forget.
Yeah.
But I guess what can I take away from it? In terms of applying it to my life,
it's like a job interview question.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry to bring it up.
So my strengths and weaknesses are.
I feel like I just coasted through it, just passed it.
I know. What? I didn't know what you said. I didn't know what your answer was.
You know what?
You fluffed that.
What I take away from it is write it down with crayons on paper.
I'll just be very vague, but I think you can. You're gonna take some L's in life. And I think, it just goes to show if you can put a positive spin on things and use it as a driving force to excel, to better yourself. And I think that's what Jordan did. And you just got to sometimes keep persevering. You can't let an L weigh you down too much. And the fact that he sort of manipulated situations in his head to create these little sort of stories to gain some sort of competitive advantage and really just demolish his competition. That's an art form right there, man. It is.
And that's the thing that we're not really witnessing. So I'm happy I got to really see that.
You know what I actually thought to myself? I thought, if this guy imagine he was like a soldier, like on a battlefield. Like, do you know what I mean? Not that you get the chance. If you take an L, you're dead. You're in a casket. But he just would have been, I think, someone who'd would have been a great way. Yeah, he would. Yeah. He'd be a great sort of soldier to have on the field.
Yeah.
And also a leader. He's got a lot of leadership qualities too. It was
he'd survive, bro. He'd have Scottie Pippen taking his bullets. Scottie Pippen would jump in front of those bullets for him, bro.
He would have shot Steve Kerr. He would have had a chance to hit him back.
Oops. Safety box off.
He would have killed half his team, but he would have won the war.
But
I think it came at a good time, this documentary as well, during the quarantine. I think it was perfect.
I needed it.
I won't lie. I have never looked forward to Mondays that much
5
in my
p.m.
life.
Mondays, man.
Mondays were like weekends.
I
to
wish
me.
that 10-part series could have easily blown to the 16 parts, 20-part series. If they really went in depth to this, because you don't really know what happened that season. You don't know his It didn't go on about his records and what he did and how he demolished competition. Just went straight to the finals.
But it's the story, like that. It has to like be along the same thing,
which was cool.
I think it was done. I wouldn't change a thing.
I wanted to see more Charles Barkley as well. Their kind of relationship they had, because they were really tight.
They haven't been speaking for like years. Bro.
Yeah, because Charles Barkley make a comment. Bro, you know what? Jordan gets offended really as well.
He does. He's hypersensitive.
Yeah, he's an Aquarian, just like me.
But
as well.
Yeah, just throw that in there, right? We're hypersensitive. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it could be. Oh no, I'm not so much. I don't really get offended.
I get offended at everything.
But look, again, great doc. I really enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't change a thing. I think I like the way that sort of chronological order and how it sort of just went back and forth and then it sort of kept narrowing down. That was really done.
And you know what was
amazingly?
Girls got into this as well. I've seen, because it's got drama in there. And I heard that on 2 podcasts they talked about it. It's because there was drama, and I completely agree.
I just can't wait for fucking LeBron James' weak ass girly bitch fucking doco that comes out in like 10 years.
Hey, Space Jam 2. Is it going to be a hit or miss?
Miss. I'm going to miss.
I kind of want it to be a hit, like just because, like, you know, nostalgia.
I really want to revisit Space Jam. I haven't done it in a long time. It is good, right?
Yeah,
it is. It is really good. Yeah,
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's a goat.
I'm a
as well.
Bill Murray fan.
I love Bill Murray.
Have you guys seen? It's not one of his most popular ones. What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Is it What About Bob?
Have you seen
Bill Murray?
The film that was directed by Wes Anderson with him, Rushmore?
I haven't seen Rushmore.
Oh, Rushmore's great. You'll love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a great
The last movie I saw from him, what was that one where he was in the army? That old school one?
Oh, yeah. What was that called?
I don't know.
But I loved him in Lost in Translation as well. We talked about this.
I need to revisit that movie.
What?
I need to revisit that movie.
Lost in Translation?
Yeah.
I watched it in the feels, that one.
I watched it when it first came out, and I don't know. Wasn't blown away like I was expecting to be blown away.
This finale, this podcast just finished.
Yeah, it's like
I think we wrap
time to wrap it up.
Just before we go, I just need to make sure I didn't just make up a movie title.
For your credibility.
For your credibility without my negative 50.
Look, unlike us, Tamer's a bit of a podcast pro here. You know, he's a veteran in the game.
I'm like 4 podcasts deep right now. That makes me a veteran.
But yeah, shout out to all 3 of my listeners that I've got out there.
Hey man, my cult follower is only going to grow, bro. I'm telling you, it's LP plus someone.
I've got a few DMs after the clip that I did about my school that I went to. I got a lot of DMs from the students saying thank you so much for talking about this. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah,
and they were loving it. Yeah, but it's like, hey, why don't you leave those comments in the actual video in the comments? Don't DM me about it.
Shout out to the shout out to the followers. My Instagram handle is.
Yeah, you want to give me Instagram handles? Give it out.
I don't even know what my Instagram handle is.
It's called What About Bob? I didn't make it up.
Suss it out.
Bill Murray, 1991.
91.
Good movie.
All right.
7.0 IMDb.
7.0.
Yeah, let's finish it on that.
Let's finish it
Wrap it up.
All right, guys. Until next week. And let's see if this episode is going to sound good or not, because one of my microphones is completely detached. It's just off an SD card. But I hope, because we got some good content on this.
This was good.
We did some good content.
And it would suck that the sounds are completely fucked up. But
I'll be here tomorrow just in case.
Just in case.
All right.
No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy another one of these too. So it actually just is syncing and flowing.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would jump to a 3-person podcast as quick. I thought I'd work my way up,
3 people.
Next week,
I think 3 people really changes the album. It becomes a conversation a lot more.
It becomes more of a conversation,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
And then
Till next time.
Till next time. Ta-ta.